We don't. But how do we know that our mother, for example, loves us? You know, my mother right now is in Chicago. You know, I'm not talking to her at this. Do I know at this very second that she loves me? Absolutely. Has she said it to me? Has she said it to me in the last day? Do I have empirical evidence, demonstrable evidence? I mean, not necessarily. Someone could say just because they put you through college doesn't mean they really love you, your mother or father. But do I know in my gut, in my heart of hearts, that my mother loves me to death? I do. You know, I'm fortunate. Maybe some people have mothers who do not love them. So I don't think it's all about demonstrable. It's not all about reason. And I don't think it's all about empirical evidence and demonstration. I think intuition is also key. So we come to know God, and I'm coming from a Jewish standpoint here, not just through reason, even though that's absolutely critical, and rational argument, and that's why the great philosophers like Maimonides and Descartes and Thomas Aquinas talk about God in that way, and not through empirical evidence, although some people come to their faith in God through what they view as evidence of God's reality. But I would argue, and I've experienced in my own life, that intuition is just as important. And do I know, can I prove to you that God is real and that God exists in a way that I can prove to you that this table, you know, is there? No. But do I know intuitively and through personal experience that God is real, at least for me? Yes. But ultimately, I think it's going to be a leap. And Kierkegaard talks about making a leap of faith. And so I think that for me, faith or belief in God is not an act of the mind, it's an act of the will. That's why I love the notion of making a leap of faith so much. It's not an act of the mind, it's an act of the will. And there is no guarantee when you make that leap that you're not gonna fall and get hurt or injured or wounded. That's what makes it so scary. But you can either be scared and stand on the sidelines, you know, or take the freaking leap and enter a whole new metaphysical world of adventure and excitement, which is what belief in God and religion has done for me. You think about Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. I'm not a physicist, but you know, what Heisenberg did through what became known as the uncertainty principle is proved to the world, or showed the world, that we can never really know ultimately anything about the physical world. There will always be that element of uncertainty. And what I would argue is that just as there's always going to be an element of uncertainty in the world of physics, there's also always going to be that element of uncertainty in the world of metaphysics. So do I feel in my gut that God is real? Am I 99.9% sure that God exists? Yes. Do I also acknowledge that there is an element of uncertainty mixed with that knowledge? Absolutely. There was a great Jewish mystic who said that if you look around the world and see all of the poverty and all of the pain and all of the suffering, and to not go through moments of doubt and temporary atheism, that in itself is a sin, because that is a sign of a calloused heart. It doesn't mean atheism should be a constant state, but it means that atheism itself can be a sign of deep spirituality, because it means you are a sensitive, thoughtful, aware, awakened person. So I think faith is absolutely compatible with uncertainty. And that is the paradox of religion, and that is the paradox of embracing mystery, and that is the paradox of the leap of faith. And that's my approach to religion. I don't approach it as a fundamentalist. For me, it's not about blind faith. It's about courageous faith and realizing that you might be wrong, but being willing to take risks, including the risk of failure.